Hi, everyone. It's Kelly from the Hub. Here today with Pastor Jim from Bergstrasse. Hi, friend.
Hello. I'm saying hello now because it is morning now, but
Right.
it's going to be evening when this is posted. And
Yeah.
one of the joys these days is you can look at this kind of stuff whenever you want.
Yeah. That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
So good day, everybody.
Yeah. Good day. Good day. So we chatted a bit before. I know every single time I can't just get over it because I don't know what to tell them in the beginning. I tell them the same thing. We were
But
talking
I
about
think, but, I think that, but I think that's good that they know that we don't really have this pre-planned and there's a script.
Yeah. Oh, there's so not a script. It would be such a weird thing if we had a script too, don't you think? I wouldn't know what to be like. Hello, this is the more. It would just be so weird.
It would be like preaching on Sunday. I have notes there and then go do something else.
Right, right. Oh, funny. So we were talking about relationships, and so here's sort of the premise. We were talking about. I'm just going to start. Is that fine? Can I just start it? Is
Oh,
that okay with you?
please,
Okay.
please, yeah, please.
So we were talking about how, like, now, okay. So you remember in your life before when you had to go somewhere for work or for life or whatever, and before the event started, like let's say it's an event or a meeting or whatever, you would have to chit chat with people. Like, you got there at the appropriate time because you have your mother that also lives in your head who tells you have to be early, like we all do. And so you got there.
Don't be late.
Right, because you're right. We can all hear that person. I just say mother because that's who it is for me. And so you got there 5 or 10 minutes early or whatever, and you're chit-chatting with people. And now in this, right. And now in this Zoom world where that lots of us live in, we go to, it's very different. It's very different when you go to a meeting. There isn't really chit-chat. There might be oh, you got your hair cut, or that's a really nice shirt. But really in a group, even if it's 6 or 10 people, you don't really chit chat beforehand.
No, wait, you changed your background.
Don't talk about it. I just moved. See, that's chit chat. But
that's
so
chit chat.
Right, that's shit. So Pastor Jim and I were talking about what's that? Like, are we losing our chit chat? And then I know, that sounds funny when you say it, but is that a necessary and important part of your relationships with people? Or, because I think I definitely have two minds about it. Like,
yes.
or is chit chat just like, oh, it's exhausting, I don't have to do it anymore? So that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about my relationships with people and sort of the value or not of chit chat.
And how they've shifted, and now we're about to go into a whole nother shift and all of that. Yeah. So I must admit, I can do chit chat, but it's not my forte. And I also know that to me, in sometimes with meetings and social stuff like that, I can become a wallflower because I don't want to get into the chit chat. And I know some people here that know me will say, "Oh no, but but again, I think it's what we call chit chat."
Right. But also, I mean, you're a pastor, so people tell you stuff just because you're a pastor. So that's a lot. But that might not necessarily, but actually, I guess as I'm thinking about it, do you think more people chit chat with you? I mean, so you weren't born a pastor. So contrary to what most people think, Do you think people chit chat with you now in your, I mean, not now exactly, but in your pastor life more than they used to when you used to be in catering?
Oh, that's a good question.
I would just assume it was yes, although the restaurant business is all about the chit chat. Yeah.
The restaurant business is all about the chit chat.
Yeah.
Come on, you have food in front of you in whatever way, and there's always chit chat. And even in the last company that I worked for, which was all special events. You go to a table and you hear the guests talking about 4 or 5 different conversations going on, and it just kind of like mind boggles you.
Yeah.
But I also realized, though, in that particular case, I didn't have to listen to everything.
Right, because you weren't
And
expected to. Now you're
that's
expected to listen.
be a part of it. But as a pastor and as part of my role as a clergy person, yes, I think people will. I think people will talk a little bit more. But I also know too. I also know people well enough too that um, they're not just going to come up and just like what
Right.
whatever's on their mind.
Right.
They're gonna test me out first
Oh, to see if
in
you're
the same way
worthy.
that to see if I'm worthy,
Oh,
and to know also, and this is important, and I'm very much aware of it. Is he gonna tell somebody?
oh, right. Because people pour out their deepest, darkest, and they want to know that you're going to keep it. Hmm.
I already have 3 books this thick of stuff I'm taking to my grave.
Of all the stuff that people have said that, right, right, right. Well,
And
and my life as a teacher was that way too. Kids would kids would tell me things that their parents didn't know, their best friends didn't know, because I was a good ear for them to listen. But see, like I think that world, that sort of world of, well, you always call it ministering. I know, but like for me, I know I'm still sort of, it's hard for me to bring that word onto myself. But for
but
me,
I'm glad that you're struggling with that,
oh yeah,
and that you can still admit that,
yeah,
because that means it really did mean something to you.
yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what it is about. I think that's what it is about these relationships and even this chit chat. You and I may have thought that conversation was just chit chat how many weeks ago now,
right,
but it really did mean something. And maybe it wasn't chit chat.
yeah. But like
Maybe
I
it
always sort
really,
of see my job as being like a counselor. I kept all that. I mean, I keep all that stuff that, because that relationship was valuable. And I guess it's about like, okay,
I
you
I've learned over the years that most people who talk, who share stuff with me, knowing I'm a pastor or not even knowing I'm a pastor, are willing to share, not because they want to be fixed, they just want to be heard.
yes,
In other words, in
yes,
other words, they just need to have some validation that they're okay.
yes,
And that's where I think sometimes that's kind of where I lean more on that, and kind of like the chit chatty stuff, just to say something like, I'll be honest, I'm the first person to ask, how's the weather?
yeah,
Do I really care about the weather? No,
no,
I can't do anything about it.
right,
You know what, though, that if I do know something, though, about you and how to care for you, how I might be able to support you and where you are, that's what's important. And I think that's one of the things that we're missing now on this Zoom stuff, because we don't have those opportunities to be heard individually.
hmm.
In other words, we don't have time to talk about, say, hey, how was your weekend?
Right. There's not like like water cooler chat, like especially I think in like work lives, and I think I mean, and true, where we're at in Lancaster County, there are lots of places that have gone back full time. There are some places that are in and out. There are some places that haven't gone back to their like work life in that same building at all. So we've got, I mean, lots of our work colleagues, and yours and mine, all the places that we connect with people, they're in very different places.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And like, I'm not really, I mean, I'm meeting in person one-on-one to help people with, like, eviction stuff, but I'm not having big meetings still. So that kind of chit chat still is gone. So, but what I think about is the value of that, or the not. I just remember when we would have like open house when I was teaching, my very good teacher friend who was 2 doors down, we used to stand outside our door during that night and like wait for parents to come in so they could see us and whatever. And she would always say, "Here you go, this is your stage." And for years, every time she would go, "This is your stage." And she hated it. She was not good at it. She hated it, but she would watch me do it, and she would try to do it based on what she watched me do. And it's interesting. I'm good at it. Part of me is like the actor part, but it's like, okay, but I don't want people to think that I wasn't having a sincere relationship with them, because I was.
Well, and I thank you for saying that, because I'm thinking the same thing. It's like, oh my gosh, people that are viewing this that actually know me say, oh my gosh, has he been a fake all this time? No, no, no,
Right,
no, 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 no,
right,
no, no.
right.
But here's the thing that I also know about myself is that, and I jokingly say about this. I mean, I tell people I'm an introvert. Well, I am an introvert. Well, no, you like to talk about. I go, no, 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 no. I can engage with you one-on-one and in your presence, but when I'm done, I'm done.
Right.
Then I need to go and step back and and just
Yeah.
whatever. And I think that's part of it. But I also see though too where now people are yearning for that again.
Yeah.
They're yearning for that one-on-one, that face-to-face stuff. And I'm one of them. But I also think though too that my conversations will be much more life-giving because we all have a shared experience now. We
Which
all have a
might
shared
show
experience.
up differently, but we have parts. Yes, yes, yes.
Right. It's not exact. Nothing is ever exact,
Yeah.
but it's we've all had this time where we've had to do a lot of stuff on our screens or whatever, and to find that balance.
And
I'll tell you the part that I'm not looking forward to
what?
in those one-on-one meetings again. Oh my gosh, now I'm gonna have to get up earlier because now I have to prepare for the drive.
Well, and see, that's the part that I'm thinking about. I mean, because this is all about relationships. As much as some people might think that it isn't, this is 100% about relationships. Like I get more work done via Zoom to be able to, I can attend more meetings, have more interactions with people, be more productive, not driving and not chit-chatting. And I like to drive, and I listen to books in the car, and I sing in the car, blah 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 blah. We all have some version of that we do to get us through our parts. It's not that I don't want to do that, but I'm much more productive like this. I don't know. I'm really wrestling with it. I'm really wrestling with was all that chit chat important or not? Like, do I care that you watched Game of Thrones last night? I don't know. And that sounds terrible, but I think it's also about what are your honest, like, are you making meaningful connections or are you not? I think that's where the real struggle
Yes.
is for me.
Yes. Yes, I agree. And I think that's one of the things that that we're seeing. when you just said a few moments ago about I can be more productive because I can do whatever. And I think that is one of the things that a lot of people are finding, and even some businesses are finding too. I mean, one of my sons has been working from home now for a little over a year. And I said, "Are you going back?" He says, "I hope not, because I'm more productive at home." And I think the thing is I think this is what I imagine is going to happen is we're going to look at that word productive and say, what does it mean? What's our work? Is our work really about um, things that are black and white and you got to get this done and da, 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 da? Or is it really about meaningful relationships with one another and trusting that we will get our work done in the midst of everything else that is going on?
Yeah.
I've never worked well, I shouldn't say I've never. It's been a long time that I've worked a 9 to 5 job, Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
That's long gone. And I think that is very much out of the mix now. Yes, there is some work that people do that they have to do it in person. Not everybody can do it
Right.
from
You
a
can't
remote
you
location.
can't build a ship without being there. You can't do that on Zoom. And
Restaurant workers.
right, I mean there's a lot of those kinds of jobs but it's because it's about the relationships. Is it
It is
COVID? Is it not COVID? Is it like I don't really care anymore because I got too much trauma in my head about all this COVID crap that I don't want to talk anymore? I don't know. Like, right? It's that complicated.
so I think that people are hungering to have authentic relationships.
Yeah.
And when I say authentic is, I think people just need to have a listening ear somewhere that they can just, I'm going to say it, dump,
Yeah.
just dump. And not that they're going to get something, out of it, but I think, one of the things that I've learned even in my past with, working with therapists, therapy for myself is that we all would need someone to talk to. We're not necessarily looking for something that's going to fix and take away whatever's on our mind, but just to kind of put something out there in the universe that it's out there, and it's a bit of and that's part of building relationships. That's the part, and then you figure out with the other person or persons how you want that relationship to go.
Right.
Can it be based on chitty chat stuff that really has surface meaning, or do you really want to get to know them a little bit more, like what really makes them tick?
And I mean the answer can be yes. It's perfectly fine to have a surface relationship with somebody. I mean, it would be weird if all of your relationships were exceptionally deep. Wow, my God, the time in your day, it would be exhausting. No
I,
offense to people, but like, wow, that's a lot, man.
I wonder if a lot of this is stemming from, and I'm going to say it, but I don't want to really get down the rabbit hole. I'm wondering if a lot of this is coming up for us too, is because we are also living at a time in our country, in our country especially, where there is either this or this.
And we've been fighting for a long time.
And we've been fighting for a long time. And we're starting to learn that there's a whole lot of this. Or
Yeah.
no, that it's all this.
Yeah, it's all
It
the stuff
can't
in the
be.
middle. Yeah.
It's all this. So therefore, how am I supposed to do this with a relationship with somebody? Do I have to do it this way? Do I have to do it this way? No,
Right.
you do it.
Right.
I think we need to give ourselves permission to realize that not all relationships are going to be the same.
Yeah.
You can have that nerdy buddy where you can nerd out together, and you can have that person that you're just going to talk about the weather and chit chatty stuff and
Yeah.
whatever. And then you can also talk about the ones that are going to go a little bit deep and come back out and still talk about the weather. I mean, it's a whole plethora of things that are out there that are just very interesting.
And I think so. We've also been talking, Pastor Jim and I have also been talking about a series that we want to do. And I think that this really connects into that series. Is we really want to do a series, and we're going to start it probably next week, on grief. And you're thinking to yourself, wait, hold on. You just did a whole thing about how much you're over chit-chatting and how that's going to connect to grief. But I think it does. I mean, grief, stereotypically, we connect grief to someone who is passed, someone who dies. But there's there's grief over relationships, there's grief over jobs, there's grief over what once was that is no longer. And I think that because of that, this is a part of it. We are all in some way grieving what our life was before this pandemic. And we're not trying to make this, a dramatic event. That's not what we're trying to do, but it's real. And
it's very real.
Some of those relationships, I think I am. I really think I am. I'm grieving over it. So I think when I say, I don't know how I feel about chit chat, maybe that's because it's the what it was lost. And how do I wrap my feelings around that loss? So we're gonna dip our toes, hopefully a little bit more than dipping our toes, but we're gonna dip our toes into the world of grief, and connect a lot of parts for us. So
yeah. I think it's helpful to be able to offer this kind of opportunity for people.
Yeah.
Because my insight tells me that the people that we touch with our conversations, they're appreciative of what we say.
Yeah, even if it's, I mean,
I think they trust us.
Well, because we've been really transparent about a gajillion things.
And Kelly, we include chit chat in our conversations.
We do. And I don't know. And you're right. I think that that's part of it too, is that we don't intend to model a relationship. Like we didn't, it's not like we met each other off the street. We're like, let's have a good conversation about modeling relationships. Like that's not, but we do that though.
We do that.
Even though that was not the intent, we absolutely do that. And for heaven's sakes, my Tuesday mornings would be terrible if I didn't get to do this. And hopefully for a lot of people, their Thursday evenings would be terrible if we didn't get to do this.
Oh, right?
I know.
I know people that tune in right at 7 o'clock Thursday night.
I know.
Oh, that's
it's so cute. So I know. So be thoughtful with us, viewers, because this is where we're at right now. This is, our real intention is to always be there for you and to talk about this stuff. And sometimes we know that if we're feeling it is because we are all feeling it at the same time. So, all right, everyone, be thoughtful in your week, and we'll join us happily when we talk about grief next time. I know, that's the best I had.
It's good. It's good.
Bye, everybody.
See you later.